Well, how's everyone doing on a Monday afternoon? It's 2 o'clock, give or take. I'm running a little bit late. It's 10 minutes after 2 o'clock here at the Lamppost Coffee Shop in the Austin, Texas area. Thanks for being with me today. Why don't you jump into chat if you get a chance? Let us know what you're thinking, what's going on in your world. We're starting off streaming both on Facebook and on YouTube today. I don't know how long the connection will last. The Wi-Fi usually gets strained when it's streaming to both platforms, but we'll start off that way. For those of you on YouTube, you're going to have to just watch me on camera. You don't have access to my entire feed. Our main feed is at Even Rabbits on YouTube. Join us on YouTube at Even Rabbits. As in, even rabbits, though they're fluffy and innocent looking, can have an impact if given enough resources. So you can even be a rabbit and be a success. That's what I say, a killer rabbit. Be a killer rabbit like you find on Monty Python. Monty Python's Killer Rabbit. This week we're talking about branding, about building your personal brand. That's the name of the game. That's what we're going to look at all week. Something I don't know a whole lot about. I've not spent a lot of time talking about or learning about branding. And according to a lot of YouTube gurus, including Gary Vaynerchuk, that's in this day and age, that's about the only thing we have left is our personal brand. So it must be important. If you're jumping into chat, let me know what's going on, either on YouTube or on Facebook. We'll hang in on Facebook as long as we can, but when I see the streaming beginning to degrade on YouTube, I'll have to cut Facebook off. Sorry about that, guys. But again, if you're on Facebook, join us on YouTube for our main feed. That way you can participate in all the fun and frivolity that will ensue over the next hour. All right. Well, what are we going to talk about? That's an interesting problem there. Let's see. I have been having problems with my camera setup all day long. That's the reason I was a little late. As hard as I try to get my cameras all in shape and to look correct, they get all wacky. So I don't understand. It's a never-ending battle, the never-ending struggle when you're trying to do something live from a coffee shop. It's really crazy when you think about it, to try to do a live stream in a public location from a coffee shop, especially with all the noise problems that you have to battle. But we do the best we can. We try. That's the main thing. All we can do is try. Let me see if I can find my... I like to play some background music. It helps smooth out the background noise if you have a little music in the background. So we'll try to go with that for a while and see how it goes. Let me know what you think in comments. Send a comment or a chat. Jump into chat. Let me know what's going on in your world. We can talk about anything you want to talk about. But until somebody gives me some other topic, something else to discuss, and I've got to fill this hour with some sort of content, and hopefully it's some content that you'll find hopefully has some value as we talk about social media and YouTube and all that kind of good stuff. So we'll see. We'll see what comes up today. Well, let me run down to my notes here. We're just sort of getting started here with our odds and ends, trying to get everybody caught up on what's going on. I did come across a website that I don't know why I haven't been using. I've been aware of it for quite a while, and I've got an Adobe account. I've got I pay for the Adobe Suite, which is, the Adobe Suite is sweet, except for the cost. It costs me $60 a month for that Adobe Suite, but I get everything that Adobe has. And I mainly use Photoshop and Premiere Pro and InDesign. I use when I'm publishing books on KDP, Amazon, and I use Illustrator on and off, but not a lot. I use Photoshop a lot. And Premiere Pro I use every day. I've got to have Premiere Pro to do my video editing. But I came across Adobe Podcast Enhancer. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but let me show you. It's Adobe Podcast Enhancer, and what you can do is you can upload a video, and then it will separate speech from the background. It will get rid of, the ones I've tried so far, it gets rid of 99% of the background, if not all of it. So if you've got a video with music, especially if you're a content creator and you want to use some clips from a video that's got music in the background, run it through this enhancer and it will take the music out and will completely just provide the audio. The speaker will remain, but the background noise and the music will be taken out, and it's a great tool. So I would suggest you using it if you need to get rid of some of the background noise. Let me show you. There's the website, and you'll notice up here is where you can choose the files and you upload it, and then down here in the lower corner you see where you can adjust how much of the speech you want enhanced and how much of the background. And I always shoot the background down to 0, and because I'm trying to get rid of all the music that I can in the background so that I don't get a copyright claim on my YouTube account. I've been getting some claims, and it's especially when I do a commentary on a video. When I do a commentary on a video here on my live stream and there's music in the background, I'll get a copyright claim. So how do I do that? So I take the video and run it through this enhancer and get rid of all the background music, and then all I'm left with is the audio. And then I can take it back into Premiere Pro and add music that I have right to use. I can use, I've got an account with Epidemic Sound, so I can bring in songs, music, soundtracks from Epidemic Sound, and can add my own music to the video, so I won't get a copyright claim. That's the main issue, is to avoid getting a copyright claim. So I don't want to upload a video that's going to get me in trouble. And I had about 5 or 6 videos on Even Rabbit's channel. On my Even Rabbit's channel, I had 5 or 6 videos that had copyright claims, and I wanted to get rid of all of them. So what I did is I went into Enhancer and got rid of the background music, and then either left it just with audio or I added some music of my own in the background. So I thought I'd give you an example here. Let's see. If I can find it. All right, yeah, here we go. This is a video that I shot way back in 2008 when I was on the road. I was on the road filming my, I had a YouTube channel called My Road Art, and basically I was traveling through the Southwest, attending art shows and festivals, and was doing a blog, and I was writing a blog, and I was posting on Facebook way back in 2008. Now YouTube started in 2006, so I was there at the beginning, but not at the very beginning. 2008, and you think about that, I mean, that's how many years ago? Coming up on 17, 18 years ago? Did I do the math right? So this video I shot was 18 years ago, and I was using this real cheap Kodak camera, so the video is horrible. And I was using copyrighted music at the time, because back then the algorithm and the way YouTube was set up, I was able to use just about anyone's music and nobody cared, or at least they didn't threaten to shut the channel down. So I was able to use just about any music I could. Well, this particular video I had uploaded to YouTube had some music that was copyrighted behind it, and I got a copyright claim on it because I reposted it on my junk channel that I've started. I've re-uploaded all of my old videos to this junk channel, and I guess I could show you the junk channel. I've started a junk channel where I'm posting and uploading all of my video library, and this is the junk channel. It's called Vecduge. Vecduge. And I'm uploading everything that I've done in the past that doesn't belong anywhere else. And I don't really care if it gets monetized. I don't care about any views. It's just a place for me to really store my backlog of videos. And so when I uploaded this particular video, Carmel Valley Art Walk, you'll see right here, I got a copyright claim because of the music that I had attached to it from 2008. And so I thought, well, I probably need to get rid of it. So the result is I want to play for you. Now think in terms of your mind, think about some loud background music going on underneath this, on the top of this video. And I want you to see how clearly that Adobe Podcast Enhancer has taken that music completely, has taken that music completely off. There was music playing all through this intro, and now it's totally silent.
Well, it's Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. And
now my audio is going to come in. Just the audio has been left, and it's kind of weird audio, but you got to remember this was 18 years ago.
And
on a crappy
tomorrow
camera.
We're having an art walk, and all the galleries are sort of cleaning themselves up and ready to receive folks into an open house, and we'll have the galleries open all day tomorrow. So what I'm doing is sort of going through a spring cleaning and rearranging some furniture and cleaning some stuff out. And as you can see, I've got quite a mess here.
Now what I did was I ran that video through the enhancer, took out all the background music, and then added music from Epidemic Sound to the background. So I don't have to fear getting a copyright claim.
Well, it's Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and tomorrow we're having an art walk, and all the galleries are sort of cleaning themselves up and ready to receive folks into an open house, and we'll have the galleries open all day tomorrow. So what I'm doing is sort of going through.
In Premiere Pro, I also brought in some Lumetri color and did some color correction and played around with
Do
that for a
a
while.
spring cleaning and rearranging some furniture and cleaning some stuff out. And as you can see, I've got quite a mess here.
The thing is, I can't play the original video for you with all the copyrighted music behind it because I'll get a copyright claim. So take my word for it, there was some really loud copyrighted music playing in the background, and Podcast Enhancer completely took it out and just left me with the audio of my speaking voice, and that was great. So it's nice to know that I can reduce the music, or at least take most of the music out of any video that I might want to take a clip from and use on my channel and not fear getting a copyright claim. So that is a big plus. And what it's caused me to do is change my workflow in terms of the live stream. What I can do is I can do the live stream, and when the live stream is over, I can let it go into the unlisted category on my YouTube channel. Instead of making it go public, I'm going to go live and then let it go unlisted. And what that unlisted will do, it will allow the video to be processed, and then I'll get a copyright notice. If there's a copyright claim that needs to be handled, then I can download the video and remove the music copyright claim and edit the version down and then come back and publish it. So that's the way I'm going to handle videos in terms of copyright. This will be helpful for you if you're a content creator. You want to have a clean slate. You don't want any of your videos on your channel to have some sort of a copyright claim. That's not a copyright strike. Now, there is a difference. A copyright claim is merely warning you that somebody has rights to that music, and in the future, at any time, can, if they wish, fulfill their response to that claim. And if the video becomes monetized and you start making money on that particular video, they can actually take some of the money. Or they can take it a step further and have you remove the video entirely if they choose to move on that claim. So it's sort of a warning. Now, the copyright strike is you've gone a step further and now you're at risk of getting your channel canceled. You get 3 strikes. 3 strikes and you're out. So you do not want a copyright strike at any cost, because once you get struck down after that 3rd strike and your channel is canceled, there's no way for you to come back and start another channel. The copyright strike will, if they cancel you for a copyright strike, then you're just done, unless you try to go around it some way in terms of, start a channel under somebody else's name, something like that. But in terms of your name and your reputation and what you can do personally on YouTube, you can no longer have a channel on YouTube if you get struck down by the copyright. They don't play around with it. They are very hard-nosed about the copyright. So that's why I don't want to mess around with it either. I want to make sure my channel is clean, and I don't want any copyright claims. If I see one, I'm going to try to clean it up. So, because who knows what the future is going to hold. You may have some copyright claims on videos on your channel, and then your channel is going to get monetized, and all of a sudden you're going to start fearing that they're going to come and take some of your money, or they're going to make you completely delete those videos from your channel. So God forbid one goes viral. God forbid you create a video that's got copyrighted music on it that goes viral and brings you all kinds of subscribers. So you just don't want to play around with it. You want to be safe. Don't want to get caught up with this copyright stuff. So I'm taking it seriously, and I'm trying to make sure that all 3 of my channels don't have any copyright claims at all. And I'm going to use Podcast Enhancer to help me do that. If I have an old video like this one from 2008 that's got some copyrighted music on it, and it comes up with a copyright claim, then I'm going to go in and take that music out and then replace it. Because I do have a pro account with Epidemic Sound, which gives me the ability to use any of their music on my 3 channels. The pro account gives you monetization on 3 channels, so I can use their music on my 3 channels, and I can monetize all 3 of those channels, and not be fearful that I'm going to have any sort of copyright issue. So that's the way to play the game. Just got to be careful in this day and age. They don't play around. Well, just to kind of reset, my name's Mitch. I'm coming to you live from the Lamppost Coffee Shop. Let me check my Facebook stream here. Looks like it's still going. And I don't see any problems with the stream so far. Your live stream is experiencing performance issues. Try using any other application or browser tabs. Try closing other browser tabs. Well, let me see if I can do that. Maybe clean things up a little bit. Facebook is so persnickety. I mean, their latency problems are gigantic in terms of the feed. So, according to YouTube, my Wi-Fi status still shows excellent, so that's good. But so far, Facebook looks like it's doing fairly well. Now, if you're on Facebook, remember, all you're going to get is my iPhone camera. This camera right here. You're not going to be able to see my browser or when I pull up any other information using my OBS streaming software. If you want to take a part of the main stream, come over to YouTube to @EvenRabbits. @EvenRabbits. As in, even rabbits, though they're soft and cuddly, they can kill you. I mean, just ask the guys over at Monty Python. Killer rabbits can be a danger. So give rabbits the right resources, and they'll come attack you. So come over to @EvenRabbits on YouTube and join us in the live stream there, and you can see everything that we're doing. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck just listening to my voice here and looking at this one camera feed. So that's the name of the game. Sorry about that. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Well, what's else on our agenda here? Today this all week we're talking about branding. Building your personal brand. Well, what the heck are we talking about? Perhaps it would help us define, when we talk about a personal brand, maybe we could figure out exactly what a personal brand is. So I've got a video here that I thought we would watch that will give us a head start. It's from Chris Doe. He is a Emmy-winning designer and is now on YouTube and is kind of in the niche. He's kind of in the niche of personal branding. He talks a lot about personal branding, and so I thought I'd bring in a short video of Mr. Chris. Let's see what he can say for us to kind of get us up to date here.
The term branding The term branding, people use it interchangeably with logo design, identity design, or even sometimes the term branding, people use it interchangeably with logo design, identity design, or even sometimes typography. And maybe we need to set the record straight. I know you're the best person to tell us, what is branding, Marty?
Yeah, so let's start with what branding isn't.
Okay.
It's because it's not a lot of things people say it is. It's not a logo.
Okay.
A logo is a very useful tool for a business, but it's not the brand. It's a symbol for the brand. A brand is not a product. So when people talk about this brand, buying this brand or that brand, they're really talking about buying one product or another product. The brand is not that. People say the brand is a promise the company makes to customers, and there's some truth in that.
Yep.
I mean, it does end up acting as a promise, but that's not what it is either. Advertising people like to say, well, it's the sum of all the impressions that a company makes on an audience.
Yeah.
Well, if you're trying to sell a lot of impressions, I can see where that might be useful to you. But from a business's point of view, why do they want that? Right. So, and how does that help
Self-serving definition
creative
there.
people understand what they're doing?
Right.
So none of those things are really what branding is. A brand is a result. It's a customer's gut feeling about a product, a service, or a company. It ends up in their heads, in their hearts. They take whatever raw materials you throw at them and they make something out of it. But it's
Okay, for those of you on Facebook, I apologize, but we're watching a video by Chris Doe, and he's with a guest, and they're talking about personal branding, and they're defining what a brand is. And they basically said a brand is not a logo. A brand is not a promise that you make. It's not a slogan. It's not some fancy schmancy website. It's not anything that you do. But a brand is what people think of you. It's what goes on inside their heads when they see you and hear you or look at your product. That's what a brand is. So there's millions of different takes on your brand based on their personal opinion. So a brand is a result of your behavior, of your actions, of what your product has to offer.
they're making it, they're creating it. And so in a sense, when you create a brand, you're not creating one brand, you're creating millions of brands, like however many customers or people in your audience. Each one has a different brand of you. So a brand is like a reputation, right? So it's your business reputation, and everyone's going to be a little bit different about what that reputation is. And that's okay, as long as you've got it corralled mostly where you want it, and that it's beneficial to the company. So we tend to look at companies and designers tend to look at branding as, from our point of view, like this is something we're doing. We're telling a story. We're making a claim. We're making a pitch. And that's what we do, but that's not what a brand is. A brand is the result of that, and if you don't start there, you don't know what you're doing. You actually don't know what you think you know what you're doing, but you don't. So from a designer's point of view, I mean, I always tended to be this way. It's like it was my gut feeling, right, about whether this is going to work or not, and then I would sell it as hard as I could to get the client to sign off on it. From the client's point of view, they're going, well, it's a checklist. I got the logo, I got the tagline, I got the ad campaign, click, check, and they think they're done.
Right.
None of that's right. What's right is what happens in people's heads. Like, what have we achieved? Like, what's the reputation that we've created through the products we're putting out, like the design of the products, the messaging we're putting out, the look and feel of them, our culture, how does that affect people? How our employees behave, how is that affecting our reputation? All that stuff counts. So it's a big world, and it actually takes in almost all of business. Not so much finance, but finance is involved too, because finance has to greenlight all these things. But almost everybody in a company is, affecting the brand, doing something with the brand, doing it for the brand, or hurting the brand. So you got to think of it that way.
Whew. All right, so that's a pretty good start in terms of what a brand is. And when we're thinking about our personal brand, it's what people think of us when they see our product or they see our logo, or they see your YouTube channel. Everything you build around your YouTube channel, you're building a brand. The way you talk, the way you dress, the language you use, it's the personality that you have, it's the logo that you have attached, or the website. It's everything that comes around to communicate what you're trying to communicate based on your product, what you're trying to offer. That's all brand. And he was making the point that it's not just one brand that everybody sees, but it's one of a million, because everybody who looks at you and looks at your channel is going to have a different opinion of what they see. It's going to affect them differently. Even if you look at a big brand like Nike, ask 100 people what they think of Nike, and you're probably going to get maybe 100 different answers. Now, if Nike has done a good job of branding themselves, then there'll be some common items that people will think about. I mean, when you think about Apple, what do you think about in terms of the Apple brand? What comes to mind? Think about words like innovation, or expensive, or closed system. Think about Apple, and then compare that to, some other brand like McDonald's. What do you think of when you think about McDonald's? Have they branded themselves well? So when you're thinking about brand, I think it's helpful for me as I begin to learn about this stuff, because I don't know doodly squat about personal branding. But what I have discovered, what I'm trying to learn here, is that when people see me and they see my YouTube channel, or they see my websites, or they see my Patreon page, or see me on Instagram, or see me on TikTok, do I communicate the same personality, the same style, the same kind of clothing, the same kind of speech patterns, the same talk? Do they see me the same on all of those different platforms? And that's what good branding will do. It's going to make us look the same. It's going to make us be the same on every platform. I mean, if you had McDonald's advertising on TikTok, or on Facebook Reels, or on YouTube, or on Instagram, McDonald's is going to not change a bit. You'll always see the golden arches. No matter where McDonald's tries to extend their reach, you're going to see the golden arches, because that's their brand. It's not going to change. It's the same. The color scheme is going to be the same. So that's what I'm learning. I'm learning to see. I've got 3 YouTube channels. I've also got a Patreon page, and I've got a TikTok account, and I'm on Facebook, and I've got Facebook pages. And I'm trying to figure out how to make all of those appear the same in terms of my brand. If I'm going to build a personal brand, then I'm going to have to look and talk and be the same on all of them, instead of all over the map in terms of my appearance, my method of communication, my personality, the way I talk about issues. All of those things need to be the same no matter where I am in terms of platform. So I've got to be the same on TikTok as I am on LinkedIn. I've got to appear the same on Facebook as I do on Instagram. So what I'm thinking about, since I've got 3 YouTube channels, I'm thinking about tying in the idea of even rabbits on all of them. Maybe I'm going to take the white rabbit as my symbol, and let that white rabbit be my symbol of my brand, and maybe tie in my other 2 channels as a part of the Even Rabbits network, where I can tie all 3 channels together into under one personal brand, and also extend that personal brand into Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and LinkedIn. Those are the main platforms that I'm on right now. So that means I've got to think about in terms of my presence on Instagram and those other platforms, and on Facebook. I've got to think about tying in this idea of my brand, and I've got to go through and give it some thought and work out exactly what my personal brand is, what is it I'm trying to communicate, and that's some of the things we're going to look at this week as we go through the week talking about personal branding, is trying to figure out how we come about developing our own personal brand and how we want to communicate that. So that's the idea. That's what we're looking at, is this idea of personal branding. Well, as you know, if you've been with me before on my live stream, I do have some notes on my iPad. So bear with me. I'm going to take it a little step further. Try to do a little deeper dive on this idea of branding. Now, I'm afraid for you folks on Facebook, I want to give you one more try. On Facebook, you're going to need to come over to Even Rabbits at YouTube. That would be the ampersand sign, the @ sign, Even Rabbits, and do a search or look at that on Facebook, or click the link that's in the description of the live feed and come over to the YouTube channel, and you can join us in this discussion. Otherwise, I'm going to have to cut you off. It's been 37 minutes, and I think that's long enough. So my main feed is on YouTube, and so we're going to be looking at some stuff on screen that you're not going to have access to. So I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to you folks on Facebook, and just tell you to come on over to YouTube and join us. So we might try this again tomorrow. So until tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, here from the Lamppost Coffee Shop in Austin. If you're on Facebook, we'll see you then. If not, jump on over to YouTube and see us, okay? All right, I'm going to end the live feed on Facebook. So now we're just on YouTube. That's good. What we're talking about here is personal branding, and today we're going to talk about one of the first points of building our personal brand, and that's about this idea of knowing who we are and what is it we're trying to communicate here. And this is where the uniqueness of a personal brand comes into play. My personal brand is going to be totally different than yours. Yours is going to be unique to you. So here are some things we can talk about, things that we can consider. What you stand for and why it matters. What are your values? What are your core beliefs? And if you'll write these things down and keep track of these things, it'll help you as you think about your personal brand. Why should anyone care about the message I'm putting out? I ask myself that all the time about this live stream. Why do I care about doing this live stream? Why do I do it? And what is it I hope that people that see this live stream, what will they get out of it? Assuming I can find an audience and find somebody who's actually watching my live stream, what is it about the message that I'm putting out that I want people to care about? I mean, am I doing this for myself, or am I doing this to try to help others? Or am I doing it because it's fun? Maybe all of those things are true. What are my core values? What's off limits to me? what principles shape your walk and teach you. You know, this idea of branding, we got to think about enemies, those who, in terms of our personal beliefs, those people we will not have anything to do with, or those people that we consider enemies to our beliefs. It helps shape us. It helps us know what kind of products we want to produce and what kind of content we want to produce. You know, what principles are going to shape my videos? What values am I going to project? Do I have any core beliefs? Who are my enemies? Who do I not like in terms of their behavior on YouTube? Example. If someone was on YouTube that I don't like, what is it about them I don't like? I don't like people who are fake. I don't like people who try to sell me stuff, you know, right out of the bat. And this idea of selling stuff is sort of an interesting topic, because it's this idea of selling. I mean, think about if you've got a course or you've got a book or you've got some sort of product, you're trying to sell memberships, or you're trying to get people to join up with your Patreon stream. You're trying to sell them something. You're trying to get money from them in some way. In a lot of ways, it's a conflict with our core value. On one hand, we want to offer them value and help them and help our viewers with information, or we want to entertain them. We want to do something for them without anything in return. But on the other hand, we've got to make money. We've got to pay for our bills in terms of the streaming service. I mean, I pay $200 a year for Epidemic Sound. Where's that $200 going to come from? So there's a fight going on between the money I need in order to survive on YouTube and the other side of the coin of helping people and wanting to build community and have them help me. So how those two things interact. So when we sell something, we've got to figure out, you know, is that something that we want to do? Do we just want to be someone who just gives everything away? How are we going to finance ourselves? Because we do have to pay the bills. So if that means trying to sell a product, then do I want to sell through affiliate programs or through brand deals with companies and avoid selling directly to the customer itself? Or do I want to try to sell a course or sell a book or sell memberships or get people to join my Patreon stream? So something to think about, and this is going to help us in terms of our personal brand. If we're thinking about developing and building our personal brand, how are we going to handle this conflict here between making money and wanting to help people without asking for money? Seemingly, you would think you can't do both, but maybe you can. Maybe there's a way to do it. Something to think about. Someone, I was watching a video, and someone said that we have a bank account here full of goodwill. It's sort of an emotional idea of goodwill with our viewers. We have a relationship with our viewers that says we're not going to try to manipulate you or say you something that you don't want. And we build up this goodwill over time without trying to sell them something every 5 minutes during our video. We try to build up this emotional bank here full of goodwill, and then every time I ask for something, every time I ask for something in return, I'm taking money out of the bank. I'm reducing the amount of the bank. And so you need to think about that. I think about that too. Every time, if I were to ask you to join my Patreon stream at $5 a month to support me on my YouTube channel, I have just reduced the amount of goodwill that I have on my live stream of my viewers. I've just reduced a little bit of their, I don't know what you would call it. You know, I've just taken away some of the goodwill that I've built up on my channel. And then I will try to build that bank account back up by maybe doing some free giveaways or going a length of time without trying to push or promote my Patreon page or whatever it is I'm trying to sell. So the idea here is to give this some thought and figure out for yourself how you're going to address this idea of we've got to make money on one hand, and yet we don't want to manipulate and create this friction with our viewers when we're always trying to sell them something and sell them something they don't need. Any of this making sense? Because I'm learning along with you. I'm trying to get my handle on this stuff too, because I've never done much of a deep dive into this idea of personal branding. So let's think about this idea of the personality lane. How are you in your natural state? Are you sort of funny? Do you have a sense of humor? Are you quiet? Or are you sort of nervous, full of high energy? Are you calm? What's this have to say in terms of your branding? Does your content reflect your personality? Does the content to the videos you produce reflect your natural personality, or are you trying to be someone else? You're trying to force it. You're trying to be funny when you're just not. Some people are just naturally funny. They have a natural sense of humor, and it comes across in their videos, while others couldn't tell a joke if their life depended on it. So you have to lean into yourself, lean into your personality, and let your personality come forth, and let that help you establish your brand. If you're not a comedian, if you're not funny, if you're more of a calm, stoic type individual, then maybe that could help you in terms of your branding, to develop your branding. What makes you different? What angle do you naturally bring that others don't? What is it that you can do to separate yourself from the crowd? What can I do when I'm live streaming and creating videos on my other channels? What can I do to be different and to be unique and to stand out? What are some things I can do that nobody else is doing? Well, the only way you're going to know that, and the only way that I can figure that out, is by watching a lot of YouTube. If I can watch a lot of YouTube and study it and see what other content creators are doing, then I'll know there are some things that I can do that they aren't doing. I've got to know the playing field. I've got to know who I'm up against. What's the thing people can only get from me? What can I offer somebody that they can't get from someone else? And for me, that's why I don't try to do a lot of technical talk here on this live stream or on my other videos, because there's other content creators that can do so much a better job of it. they've got the equipment and the fancy studio, and they can really dive in deep on how to use Premiere Pro to edit a video. So I don't need to do that. There's others that can do that better than me. So what can I bring to the viewer that others are not able to bring? What is it that is unique about me that I can offer? Well, here's a suggested short identity statement. I help so-and-so do this by doing this. And this can be sort of your slogan. This can help be the slogan or the tagline of your brand. I help blank do blank by blanking. So I don't know the answer to that. When I look at my Even Rabbits where is it? When I look at my Even Rabbits channel, and I was looking at trying to come up with the channel banner that goes across the top, and I wanted to add some sort of explanation for Even Rabbits because it's sort of an odd channel name. And when I think about Even Rabbits, when I've told people have asked me, well, what's your channel label? What do I search for when I go to YouTube? And I say Even Rabbits, and they look at me weird and they say, rabbits? Even what kind of rabbits? And I have to sit there and explain to them Even Rabbits. And so when I was thinking about my channel banner up at top, I was trying to come up with some way of explaining that, and I'm not real sure I've succeeded. I may have too much, but this is what I came up with. You can see here, I'll come in close so you can see it. Even rabbits can have impact. Quick, clever, and tougher. They're quick, clever, and tougher than they look. Cute doesn't mean quiet. So that's the idea behind Even Rabbits. Even rabbits, even though they're soft and cuddly and cute and furry, that doesn't mean they can't have impact. So when I think about my community, I think about me and my fellow rabbits. Cute doesn't mean quiet. So when I'm thinking in terms of a slogan, I'm thinking in terms of this idea of I help blank do blank by blank. I've got to give it some thought here in terms of the slogan as I'm building this brand around the idea of Even Rabbits. And this cute but not quiet idea. Cute doesn't mean quiet. That's the idea, is to come up with some sort of a slogan that I can use, a tagline that I can use on the brand. Something you can say on every live stream, video intro, and bio. Something catchy, something that people will remember. Like Nike has Just Do It. So that will help us as well in terms of our branding. Well, let's see. That's a pretty good intro to the whole idea. I know I'm adding a lot of notes and looking at a lot of junk here, but this idea of branding is really fun and interesting to think about because it gets to the heart of our wanting to market ourselves and promote ourselves and do the things that we have to do in order to survive on YouTube. And I think developing a personal brand will help us do that. And so I'm hoping that you'll hang out with me here this week, and we will work together on learning as much as we can, what we can, as we discuss this idea of branding together, try to figure out what we can do. So maybe that will help us as we go along. Now, I do have a video here that I want to show. This guy's name is Alexander the Creator. That's the name of his channel. And he's going to talk a little bit about speaking on camera and how we can communicate in creating our brand, how we want to come across on camera. So I thought it'd be interesting to see what he can share with us a little bit about.
If you're an
this.
entrepreneur and you're looking to build a personal brand in 2026, but you are slightly worried about how you talk on camera and think that might hold you back, this video has found you at the perfect time. I really want to share with you a concept that has come to me through working with hundreds of clients around the world that has ended up being the cornerstone behind not only unlocking your on-camera speaking ability and be able to talk to camera authentically and confidently, whether that's to a plan or off the cuff, and also it's the cornerstone behind actually building a personal brand that has this sort of cult-like sticky following who watch all of your videos, who are a community that's centered around your content, who also watch and buy from you, right? So this cornerstone is your personal brand speaking tone. Now, if we take a little step back and look at what traditional brands are doing, they all have a tone of voice, right? Imagine you're Steve Jobs or whatever and you hire a branding agency, not that he did that, or maybe he did, I don't fucking know.
No.
If he hired a branding agency, what would they say? They'd sit down with him, they'd probably be Australian, why not? And they'd be like, hey Steve, we need a tone of voice for your brand, all right? We need a sort of, we need something kind of sticky that people can just understand, sort of tone of voice. And Steve would be like, all right, innovative, yet simple. And they'd be like, that's gold, mate. We're gonna do that. So that became Apple's tone of voice, right? Nike, aspirational, confident. They all have a tone of voice. When it comes to speaking on camera and having a personal brand, no one thinks about their tone of voice. Now, it's not literally the timbre of your voice. I'm talking about the relationship that you have with your audience. So what is the actual relationship that you have? Most people have not actually figured this out, especially if they're starting. And it's the number one limiting factor that holds them back from actually just being themselves on camera and also building that sticky personal brand. And the reason is because when they speak to camera, they turn on the camera, they might know who they're talking to, right? They might have their avatar or the one key fan who is really listening to them. But they don't know what their relationship is with that person. So most people just sort of default to this like, oh, I'm an authority, whatever that means. Like, I'm just gonna speak or try to speak authoritatively or like a teacher to my audience, whoever those people are. And this creates this dynamic on camera, which doesn't have that warm, friendly, personal approach where you feel like you can actually just trust the creator because they're actually trying to help you out. Now, there's a couple of examples that I want to share with you. The first is a guy called Chris, who I've worked with, and he's a therapist specifically for ADHD fathers. Now, imagine if he just had this tone of voice that was like really authoritative, right? You have to do this and this, and this is what you have to make your routine like to be successful at home and at work. It's not going to work because he's the therapist. So he would shape his personal brand tone to be like, okay, I want to be empathetic. I want to meet people where they're at. I want to be a therapist. But if I tie a bit of myself into here, I want to have this sort of like friendly dad they'd meet at the park kind of vibe, right? Friendly dad they meet at the park who's an empathetic therapist. That would be a perfect personal brand speaking tone that he could put into his videos. Another example, a guy called Gabor. He is running an AI agency, and he's looking to build a community of AI engineers and become a leading voice in that industry. And so if he just went with authority, this is what's happening in AI, and just read it out like a newsreel, He probably wouldn't do that well. Instead, he's like, I want to be the AI engineer next door. And I'm going to be sharing the latest news, the latest updates. I'm going to be talking about what I would do if I was just starting out as an AI engineer in 2026 or whatever. And that becomes his speaking tone of voice. So the reason why this helps build a sticky personal brand is that people start coming back for more and more of your videos because they get a certain vibe out of you. So I don't want to sort of toot my own horn too much in this.
Okay. I think we'll come back maybe tomorrow and finish this up because he's got some good points to make. He specifically here is talking about having a tone of voice in our personal brand, the way we speak, and the way we come across. What's our basic personality? What's the way we would talk to someone if we were sitting across the table from them at a coffee shop? And what are some words that would describe you, the way you are, your personality? And I think about the word that I keep coming across in my own personal branding is curiosity and fun. Those two words, fun and curiosity. I do this stuff. I'm 67 years old, so there's a lot of different things I could do as a 67-year-old, sort of in retirement. And the thing that gets me excited about YouTube and social media in general, TikTok and Instagram and all those things, is curiosity. And also, it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun. I get a lot of enjoyment out of dealing with these issues of communication, these issues of dealing with platforms and trying to communicate online and dealing with social media and all of the impacts that we can think about that social media has on people and the way they behave and the way we communicate with one another. And it's just an interesting world, an industry that is really fascinating. This whole idea of YouTube and trying to crack the YouTube algorithm and creating a channel that can get monetized and make money. All that stuff is very interesting, and it's fun. It's fun to do. So when I think about my own personal brand, the words that come to mind for me are curiosity, fun, a certain amount of experimenting. And so those three words are the ones that keep popping in my head when I think about my tone, the sort of tone that my personal brand will have. It'll be one of having fun. It'll be one of curiosity, and it'll be one of trying a lot of different things, experimenting, trying to find those things that other people are not doing, trying to do things that are out of the box. And that's what excites me about the whole idea. And so somehow my personal brand has to reflect that. So when I think about rabbits, and when I think about even rabbits as maybe being the overarching brand of what I'm creating, when I think about rabbits, how can I tie in this idea of fun and curiosity and experimenting with that particular image of a rabbit? That's what I'm going to have to give some thought to and try to figure out what can be done in that, in sort of that idea. So, well, looks like we're going to bring this to a close for today. It's been a bit over an hour, so I've put my hour in, and thanks for being with me. Next time, jump into chat. Let me know what's going on in your world. If you're watching this video sometime in the future, down the road, jump into comments. Let me know what's going on. Now, what I'll be doing is, once I finish today's stream, it's going to go into the unlisted category on my YouTube channel. It's not going to go immediately into public, into published. It's going to go into unlisted. It's going to go into the unlisted category. In the unlisted category, YouTube will go ahead and process the live stream as a video, and it will give me, if there's any copyright issues, it will go ahead and let me know if there are some copyright claims against something that I've come across. Primarily music. I've tried not to have any today, but we'll see. Now, it usually takes 12 to 24 hours, so it'd be tomorrow before I'll check. And then tomorrow, if it shows that I've got a copyright claim, I'll take it into Podcast Enhancer, Adobe Podcast Enhancer. I'll handle the issue that way, take out the music if there is something, and re-edit the video and then repost it before it goes public. If there's no copyright claim, if it's clean, then I'll change it from unlisted to public and we're done. So that's the way I'm handling things now, because I want to keep my channel copyright claim free. I don't want any copyright claims. That's an area I don't want to get into. So, but again, thanks for being with us, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, coming to you live from the Lamppost Coffee Shop, the Austin, Texas area, and we will see you mañana. So go out and have a good day. Do something nice for somebody.
And when you ba-da-ba-da-ba